One is rolling. Start this over. Here is question number one for Edge of a Light. What is the meaning of this song? Edge of a Light. This is an important song to the album. This is an important song to me. It's very slow. It's very soft. I was hoping for a very comforting kind of feel to it. There are times for pretty much everybody in life where things are feeling pretty hectic, things are feeling tense, uncertain, bad. Things are not going well. And in all of it, we can get pretty lost. We get to feeling like we don't know what's going to happen to us, what's going to happen to the people we care about. And sometimes I have this feeling that this sort of certainty deep down that somehow it's going to be okay. Somehow we're going to find out how to make it okay. We're going to get there. And I don't necessarily mean that to be this religious thing. I didn't want it to have these connotations of a particular religion. Because you could really easily interpret this song. There's a place you'll find. That place being heaven, the Christian version of heaven. I didn't want it to be like, no, that's not it. But I didn't want it to be like, that has to be it. Because for some people, that doesn't make a lot of sense, or it just does not comfort them. The idea of heaven just doesn't bring them any peace. And I wanted this to be a song that brought peace. Here's a chance to breathe. Here's a chance to be okay. So I was trying to put a song together that could bring that feeling to a lot of people without saying, oh, you like this song? Well, this song's about Jesus, so, you know? It's nothing like that. One thing I say a lot when I play this song live, a lot of you know this already, but the lead singer of Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, he committed suicide. This was the summer before my senior year of high school. I am a huge Linkin Park fan. Huge. They might be my favorite musical act of all time. I'm not usually one for a celebrity death. All death, of course, is worth mourning. But this one in particular, in terms of celebrity deaths, this one bothered me a lot. It really impacted that summer, it impacted the rest of the year. Because there I was, feeling like music might be how I want to go forward. Music might be what I want to do with my life. And there was Chester Bennington, who on the surface was living basically my dream. Selling out stadiums, going on tours, everybody listens to his music. And somehow that wasn't enough. What he was dealing with still got the best of him. And that left me feeling like, well, what chance do any of us have? Holy smokes. Now, mental health, issues of that nature, it goes a lot deeper than that. It's not a one-for-one thing of good enough for him, good enough for me. That's not how it is. We could have a whole other discussion on that. But what I wanted to create was sort of a safe place to go. Something comforting, something that when you're feeling as uncertain as you can be, Just a reminder that somehow, truly, it's gonna be okay. We'll figure out how later, but don't forget that. If you have in your possession a physical copy of the record, you can check the liner notes, little pamphlet, and they all have a little interesting fact about each song. And the interesting fact for Edge of the Light is that I had it quoted as an epiphany song. This was the only one on the album where really the lyrics came to me almost one to one. Just here they all are. What it was, I sat down dealing with those thoughts that I told you about. And I said, I gotta work through this, see if I can pull something out of this. And I sat down with a empty sheet of notebook paper, and I just free form, flow of conscious, just wrote down what I was thinking in kind of a song format, and I filled it up, edge to edge, filled it up with words, and then I sat down and I picked lines, segments that I liked, that I think communicated what I meant well, and I cleared out the stuff that I didn't like, and what I was left with was the lyrics to Edge of a Light. As far as putting together the melodies and the chord progressions, that was simple enough. This is a very calm song. So you got time to think about what the next chord is going to be. I didn't want it to be jarring, but when you're writing a slower song, it's difficult, especially a relaxing, calm song. It's difficult to find that line between relaxing and just boring. So I was trying to be very deliberate about the chords that I picked. I wanted to maintain that feeling without losing attention, I guess. This song was another one that really didn't fight me a whole lot. I felt uncertain at times. I thought maybe it's too boring, maybe it's too simple. But for what it is trying to be, what I wanted it to be, I think it works. The sound effect that you hear, it fades in, plays throughout, fades out with the song. It's crickets, tree frogs, just the sounds of night in a Midwestern forest. I actually recorded that in my backyard. We were working on this song in the studio, working on recording this song. I came home, we were almost done, but I was thinking it really needs something. The original ideas were like the crackle of a fire or the subtle crackle of a vinyl record, or something similar to that, just a sound effect to kind of give you that warmth. And I thought, I was coming in from being at the studio, I was coming home, and I heard those crickets, tree frogs. It's a very familiar sound to me. I've been listening to those guys. They start singing about April, May, and they don't shut up until about September. I've been hearing those guys for 8 months a year, 7 months a year, every night of my entire life, and they were comforting to me. This is kind of how home sounds. And I thought, well, that's exactly what the song needs. So I went out and I recorded that, standing at the edge of the woods with a microphone for like 8 minutes, just standing perfectly still. If my neighbors saw that, they were a little confused, but it was fine. This is the only song without any drums. There are no drums, no percussion at all, and that helped simplify the process. The piano is actually 4 or 5 different layers effects. There's a straight up grand piano, there's like a crushed old timey piano, there's like a 70s Rhodes electric piano. They're all playing basically the same thing. I'll throw a lick in every now and again, but I was going for this sort of thickness and warmth because that's really at the heart of the song is the piano, what that guy's doing. And so I wanted to give that some weight. The only thing that really gave us any trouble with recording the song was the violin solo and what happens after. Originally, that was going to be an acoustic guitar solo. I wrote the solo on acoustic guitar, and I brought it into the studio and played it on acoustic guitar. Now, I've said before, I'm not very good at guitar, but even when I would play it properly, it just didn't sound right. So we tried putting it on the electric guitar, putting all kinds of different effects on the electric guitar. We moved to the piano. I spent like a whole session in the studio just thumbing through this supercomputer of a piano that Rob had at the studio. You know, we tried the piano, we tried 100 different effects there. We tried, here's a clarinet or a cello or some ghostly weird reverb nonsense, and we settled on a violin. Played the violin and a patch on the keyboard, and that sounds pretty good actually. But I also knew that, especially for this song and for most of the album, I wanted to use real instruments as much as I could. So we had friend of a friend of a friend knows this violin player. Wesley Waldron came in. We fiddled around with it, and it was almost there. In the little snippets he got right, it was like, this is gonna work, but there's kind of a disconnect between him and I. We talked about it, and he said, actually, let me go home and let me work on a couple things, and I'll come back. And I said, absolutely, because clearly this guy is good. He went home, Wesley did, and actually notated, properly wrote out on sheet music how the solo went with the chord changes and everything. And he said that cleared it up. He came into the studio the next time and nailed it. It sounded excellent just in the studio. My friend David was listening to him as he recorded it live. Rob went in and sprinkled some effects on there, just some subtle things that really, really cleaned it up. And that's one of my favorite parts in the whole album is what that violin is doing. I love that. That turned out really well. When I ask myself, what is that place? When you say there's a place you'll find, what do you have in mind, Max? And for me, the answer was like a campfire at the end of the day with people you care about. I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. After a long day, just sitting down around a campfire and put their phones away, just talk and listen to the woods around you and ease your way into getting ready for bed. There's something indescribable about that. Of course, we as human beings have been doing that since we invented fire, whenever that was. So I suppose it's this sort of ancestral inner instinct that this is a good thing to do. Whatever the reasoning is, that's what that place kind of is for me. And when I say shining like glass at the edge of a light, that's what I mean. Edge of a fireplace, edge of a campfire. And there's friends talking and you're right there, shimmering in the light of the campfire. The original line was shining like glass at the edge of a firelight, but that didn't really fit, so I took out the word fire. But I knew that was what I wanted, especially with the crickets and the tree frogs. This fire was in my backyard. I had just invited some friends over, said, hey, it's a nice night, let's have a campfire tonight. And they were like, yeah, it's great. And I said, okay, just so you know, I'm gonna spend like 15 minutes just kind of filming you guys. Your faces will hardly be in it, and whatever you're saying will also not be in it. Um, for some of these clips, I remember the conversation was actually about how terrible the new Star Wars trilogy is. They're just slamming on it, which I think is fair. That's unrelated. But yeah, that's all that was just exactly what I meant as there's a place you'll find. For me, that place was sitting around a campfire with some close friends. Easy enough. So there's a number of easy enough answers. One being, this is the only one with no drums at all, no percussion of any kind is on this song. This is also the only song with a violin solo. It's actually the only song with a true violin. And the feeling of this song is very unique. There's not another song that has the feeling of this. It's partnered up with Between the Waves in terms of the side one, side two deal, and it's supposed to be the answer to the frustration that's being felt in Between the Waves. I can't break away, no one else can break in. I don't know what to do with myself, I'm so frustrated, I'm sick of this. Edge of a Light is supposed to be not to say where you're at right now doesn't suck, but don't forget that you're gonna get through it. You can, you will. You'll figure it out. Edge of a Light has this very... It's one of the only songs where there's not actually something wrong. You know? There's no, like... I don't like where I'm at. There's no... The relationship's not working. There's no frustration. It's just... kind of peace, a kind of comfort. It's right next to Don't Stay Gone. Like I said, it's kind of a breather before you get to the end suite of the album. Yeah, this is a very calming song, and the simplicity of it and the warmth in it is unique within the album. Certainly so.